Are we living in the end times? Hi, my name's Wes Ellis. I'm the pastor of First Congregational Church of Ramona in the United Church of Christ. And people have thought we were living in the end times pretty much since the very beginning of the church. So every generation has thought, oh, it's now's the time. Here's when the end days are coming. And we even have a story in the Bible where Jesus' disciples ask the same question: when are we going to know that the end times are coming? And you can read about this in Matthew 24. The question may come up in Matthew 23. But in Matthew, the disciples ask Jesus this question. After marveling at the beauty of the temple, they ask Jesus, when is the end coming? When will this all culminate? And of course, they probably have very different ideas than we do about what that looks like. And they certainly didn't have like anything like the rapture or whatever, imagine, whatever we've come up with in the years since then in mind. But they definitely wanted to know, and they were definitely suspicious that it was their time, that it was going to happen. And Jesus gives this long answer, and Matthew 24 is full of his answer, saying things like, oh, hey, there will be wars and rumors of wars, and there will be earthquakes and things. And interestingly enough, what Jesus is describing are things that especially the readers of Matthew would have definitely recognized as happening in their time. And so you can kind of imagine the disciples sort of like taking notes, like, okay, so the end times are coming when this happens and when this happens. And then you can imagine them stopping and realizing that's all happening now. When has there been a time in history when there weren't wars and rumors of wars, when there wasn't earthquakes and crazy things happening? And in the first century, we have very specific earthquakes, that one that shook the whole city of Jerusalem. In fact, if you go to Israel now, they will sell you Roman glass that was broken during that earthquake, apparently. Probably enough of that to go around. And then wars and rumors of wars. We're talking about the Roman Empire. That's what they did. They were constantly at war, conquering other nations, or they were talking about doing it, or they were threatening to do it, or there was a threat of people coming and revolting against the Romans. And you can definitely imagine this was a lot of the talk during the time Matthew's writing the gospel, where the Jews have either just revolted against the Romans or they're planning on it. There's wars and rumors of wars all over the place. And then what's interesting, and people don't often read it this way, but Jesus gives what I think is really his true answer to the question of when are the end times. And he doesn't give that answer until Matthew 25. So Matthew 24 is this long and perhaps sarcastic response to the question. You want to know when the end times are happening? Oh, well, there's going to be stuff happening just like there is right now. But here's the answer. The real answer is in this story Jesus tells about a master separating sheep from goats. And what separates the sheep from the goats is not whether or not they were ready for the end times. It is whether or not they served the poor, fed the hungry, healed the sick, clothed the naked, visited the prisoner. Jesus says, whatever you do for the least of these, you've done it for me. That's actually Jesus' answer. And people know that story, don't always connect it to that question. But that's Jesus' answer to the question, are we in the end times? Or when are the end times coming? His answer is, forget about that question. His answer to that question is actually, you're asking the wrong question. The right question is, how do I serve others? How do I care for those who are on the underside of society? How do I care for those who are being oppressed and hurt? That is what you should focus on. So to be ready for the end times, don't look to things happening in the Middle East. Oh my gosh, the Bible has nothing to say about what's happening in the Middle East right now. Stop obsessing over that. What you should care about and what you should look to is who is being hurt in the world, who is sick, who is hungry, who is being imprisoned, who is being detained, who is in need of clothing and basic essentials. That's whose side you should be on. Ask the question, how can I love those people? How can I serve Jesus by serving the least of these? That's the real question, and that's the question that we Christians should be asking.